Hello there. My name is Allie King, a clinical toxicology fellow here at the Georgia Poison Center located in Atlanta, Georgia. Today I will be briefly talking about designer drugs. I will define the term and then briefly discuss bath salts, synthetic cannabinoids, and synthetic opioids. Before jumping into designer drugs, I wanted to introduce the DEA. They are the Drug Enforcement Agency, who is responsible for regulating the use of controlled substances, especially those with the potential for abuse, through something called the Controlled Substance Act. The medications they regulate include over-the-counter, prescription medications, and then of course illegal or illicit drugs. Illicit drugs have several laws that prohibit the sale, distribution, and consumption of them. The Synthetic Drug Abuse Prevention Act of 2012 added numerous synthetic products as a Schedule I controlled substance, making them illegal. Designer drugs are synthetic or man-made drugs that are developed to mimic the structure and activity of existing substances. These substances contain molecules that elicit a variety of psychoactive properties, such as hallucinations or highs. They are non-traditional drugs of abuse and have unfortunately been increasing in popularity over the past several years. The developers of these drugs find new ways to get around the laws by constantly producing new compounds and analogs that chemically resemble illegal substances, but however are not exactly the same substance. They have minor differences in their structures. These are marketed as legal highs, until deemed otherwise by federal agencies that they are in fact structurally or pharmacologically similar to already classified controlled substances. Packaging may be bright and colorful to attract younger adults, are relatively cheap, readily available, and appear to be safe herbal medications. Some designer drugs that we're going to talk about today include cathinones or bath salts, cannabinoids, and opioids. Bath salts? This is a term that is unfortunately not referring to the aromatherapy, relaxation, bathtub bath salts. Instead, bath salt is a general term referring to the derivatives of a cathinone. Cathinones were originally developed for their stimulant, antidepressant, and appetite suppressant effects in hopes to be used as pharmacological agents. However, during the investigation of these agents, it was quickly noted that these agents had a high abuse and dependence potential, so then therefore the investigations were stopped. Bath salts can be smoked, injected, inserted rectally, or taken orally. Typically, they are manufactured and sold as pellets or powder formulations. These substances work by altering the levels of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Affecting these neurotransmitter levels will cause an increase in stimulation, sexual arousal, emotional disturbances, and possibly even violent behavior. Effects can be seen within 30 minutes after use and can last up to 3 hours. Street names for bath salts include Bliss, Lovey-Dovey, Monkey Dust, Snow White, which is pictured here, Super Coke, Vanilla Sky, and Zoom, and several other names. You can see here on the Snow White picture, there is a warning that says not for human consumption. They try to put this warning on there to get around legal laws. Flocka, which is something that you may have heard of, is considered to be a synthetic stimulant, which is thought to have similar effects to bath salts, but may have even worse effects. Synthetic cannabinoids. These compounds were originally developed and investigated for their treatment of pain and nausea on the cannabinoid receptors CB1 and CB2. Synthetic cannabinoids are produced and then sprayed onto dried herbs, which are then generally smoked or ingested orally. They will be marketed as incense and again contain a not for human consumption warning on the packaging in attempts to evade the law. Synthetic cannabinoids differ from marijuana because they are full receptor agonists and have an affinity up to 800 times stronger than THC. THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, is the partial agonist of the marijuana and is responsible for physiological chemical effects of marijuana. Desired effects of synthetic cannabinoids mimic those of marijuana, and within 10 minutes of exposure, patients may experience relaxation, euphoria, disinhibition, and altered perception. Synthetic cannabinoids may be referred to as spice, K2, legal weed, or synthetic marijuana. This is an interesting picture that I came across and thought it was interesting just to give in perspective to see how closely these particular compounds are related in structure. You can see that by just glancing at it, they have both several ring compounds and then a carbon chain. But if you look closely, their structures are different because of the ring substitutions on the aromatic rings. Synthetic opioids are similar to our typical opioid medications, but are much more intoxicating. These medications can cause significant central nervous system and respiratory depression in patients, which could also be fatal. Synthetic opioids can be used to lace illicit drugs, and it may exacerbate the adverse effects. Patients may not even know they are getting a drug laced with synthetic opioids, which is even scarier. Examples of synthetic opioids include fentanyl analogs, such as carfentanil, and this is commonly referred to as elephant tranquilizer. Carfentanil, as you can see here by this drawing, is 10,000 times more potent than morphine and 100 times more potent than fentanyl. Larger than usual doses of naloxone may be required to antagonize its effects. Just to put the potency of carfentanil into perspective, I came across this image. Carfentanil is used on elephants, and elephants, African elephants, can weigh anywhere from 5,000 to 14,000 pounds. 5,000 to 14,000 pounds, that is a lot. And as we know, the average human weighs nothing near that. In this particular image, they say the average adult male is 195.5 pounds. So an average elephant weighs anywhere from 26 to 72 times the weight of an average adult male. This being said, carfentanil can be extremely dangerous to humans. In conclusion, these designer drugs pose unique challenges to our medical professionals, since there are no confirmatory tests readily available at the local hospital level. These agents will not be detected during routine drug screening, such as blood or urine drug screens. If you are fortunate enough to be affiliated with a lab that does have the ability to test for these products, the results may take several hours to return and therefore may not be extremely beneficial in the initial diagnosis and management of a patient. If you are suspecting a patient has taken a designer drug, contact your local poison center for assistance in management. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the number, but just in case you forgot, to get a hold of a poison center, dial 1-800-222-1222. Again, 1-800-222-1222. So 3 2s, a 1, and 3 2s again. Below are the references that I've used to make this presentation. The images were courtesy of Google Images. Thank you for listening to this short presentation on designer drugs. We hope it was informative. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas on future topics you would like discussed, please reach out to us or contact me directly via email. My email address is aking, A-K-I-N-G, @georgiapoisoncenter.org. It's listed there on the slide for you. Thank you and have a good day.